This is Boris Karloff speaking. I'm here with a story for you from the files of the Reader's Digest. Who killed Chung Ling Soo? The coroner's verdict was death by misadventure, but the fate of magician Chung Ling Soo was almost certainly no accident. The strange story begins in New York 60 years ago. A certain William Ellsworth Robinson, a magician by profession, was broke. Far less skillful men than he were getting all the jobs, and Robinson decided to try a desperate gamble. And so in May 1900, a glittering-eyed man with a queue and flowing oriental raiment registered at a fashionable hotel in London. And with him there travelled a diminutive, slant-eyed maiden. They called themselves the illustrious Chu Ling Soo and his assistant Susie Scene. But back home in America, they'd just been plain Bill and Dottie Robinson. After just one performance at the famed Alhambra, Chung Ling Soo's success was assured. Things went fine for a time. Then into the pretender's paradise came temptation. Her name was Estelle. He was sure that his romance was a secret, until one night he found an anonymous note on his dressing-room table. Be careful. Don't forget that in your bullet-catching trick, your wife loads the guns. Surely Dottie didn't suspect, or did she? It wore on his nerves. So he decided on a divorce. He'd marry Estelle and end this worrying. And then, unbelieving, he heard his beloved say, "Oh no, Chung, I could never marry anyone but an American. But I am an American, I'll prove it." Next day, dressed in Western clothes, he called on Estelle. She stared at him shocked. What she saw was an undistinguished man, halting and ordinary in speech. Where was the strange, alluring figure from the East? Miserably, Chung Ling Soo confided in a friend. "It's like having two men in one body," he said. "One wants a woman that he can't have, and the other has a woman that he's afraid of." His friend was worried. "I wish you wouldn't do the bullet-catching trick tonight," he said. "Well, this is the last time I'll ever do it," promised Chung Ling Soo, and went out onto the stage. The trick began as always. 4 spectators were coaxed up onto the stage. Other audience members were asked to examine the bullets. Then Dottie Robinson loading the bullets into guns. Then music, Chung giving the sign, fire. The curtain fell, and behind it, Robinson lay dead in the arms of the innocent Susie Scene. Houdini made a public statement explaining the gun trick. Normally, the bullets never left the guns. The performer carried duplicates in his mouth, but this time the trick mechanism in the guns must have failed to work. But Chung's friend knew that there had been no accident, knew that Chung Ling Soo had been slain on that stage by his envious other self, the killer and the victim falling together in one body. The sad but true story of the wizard Chung Ling Soo is from the Reader's Digest back files, but it bears a resemblance to an article in the current December issue of the magazine, also about some wizardry. In this case, the subject matter is more cheerful, for the wizardry involves some fabulous automatic devices which will do anything from steering an aeroplane to keeping the snakes in the zoo happy. The name of the article is "They're Wizards on Control," and I found it most interesting. I'll be joining you soon again with more transcribed stories, but until next time, this is Boris Karloff saying goodbye.